what the Falcons do, rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, show we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning. All right, guys. So watched a little bit of the preseason week 2 for the Falcons last night, Monday Night Football, the only Monday Night Football action we're going to get this year. Played the Jets. We really have a pretty easy preseason schedule. We play the Lions, play the Jets, play the Jags. Those are all teams that are predicted to be bottom 10 of the league this year. The Falcons are also predicted to be bottom 10 as well. And I think there are things that definitely showed about that last night. So let's start with the good. Offense is still clicking relatively well. I like Mariota and what he's doing overall. He seems to have a pretty good command of short routes. He did have a 52-yard reception, or really more of a catch and run, to Kyle Pitts. I do have a problem with that, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But I did like him out there. He only threw 10 passes, completed 6 of them. He had I believe he had a touchdown for the team as well. Let me double check that. Yeah, it was Mariota. I thought it was him and not Ritter. And 132 yards on that. So really pretty efficient day for him. So overall offense I liked a lot. Offensive line played pretty well. Didn't allow a sack all game. So even with our backups didn't allow a sack. So I do like the depth that we have there. And I think that people played well on that side of the ball. Younghoe Koo is amazing as always. 3 for 3 on field goals and 1 for 1 on an extra point. And yeah, our special teams is looking okay. We're still not really playing a ton of our starters, not with any consistency here. So let's talk about things I didn't like. No sacks. 2 pressures by first teamers. So we got a pressure by Lorenzo Carter, or what I'm going to call a pressure with a QB hit. And then Troy Anderson, one of our second round picks, also got a pressure, almost got a sack on him. But no sacks. This was a problem last year, and we didn't get any sacks against the frickin' Jets. I get it. We're not going to show all of our blitz packages in a preseason game. It's just not going to happen. We're going to hold off until the regular season, and then we're going to unleash the defense there. I thought our defense played better. Even though we allowed about the same points, I thought we played better as a unit last week against the Lions than we did this week. Now, again, hard to read into a preseason game. Our starters only played a couple of series out there, and we did a pretty good job. We held them to, basically just nothing, 3 points in the first half. So, and that's with some of our starters and a lot of our second stringers. So overall, not bad. That said, Jets didn't play hardly any of their starters. The only guy that I can find that would potentially be a starter for them, at least on offense, would be Denzel Mims. And he's a guy that I think is probably their 3rd or 4th receiving option for them, even though he was a second-round pick a few years ago. So not a big fan of that. We did have an interception. Tease Tabor, he was able to get an interception. And then not a guy that I think is going to necessarily make the team, but that will be a plus for him to potentially avoid getting cut, or bare minimum he should still be on the practice squad and kind of a reserve player. And then you also, on the other side of the ball though, Felipe Franks did not play well at all. Only completed 2 passes, and then he had the game sealing, if you want to talk about the utility and importance of a preseason game, the game sealing fumble, which was a scoop and score for the Jets. So it ended up being 24-16 Jets. So the second and third team of the Jets beat our second and third team, really more of our third, fourth team fringe guys. So not really concerned about that, but I'm concerned about a couple of things here. The lack of aggression, I would say, from the offense, the starting offense against a second string, our lack of aggression from our defense rather against a second string offense, that concerns me a little bit. And then I talked about the good with Mariota. He had a 54-yard pass, or 54-yard pass completion to Kyle Pitts. And 52 yards. Kyle Pitts was just blew past his defender, wide ass open. Sounds like a great thing. Kyle Pitts had to slow the heck down. Like he had him beat. If he catches the ball in stride, he's gone. That was a touchdown. But he had to slow down. He had to slow down significantly to catch about a 35-yard pass and then take it another, 15, 17 yards down the field. before getting tackled by the safety in the corner. But he had him beat. He was gone. But Mariota couldn't hit him in stride and had time in the pocket to make a good throw. Now, that's something that's concerning to me with Mariota, and it's a problem that I've had ever since he got into the league. I have not thought at any point in time that he had the arm strength or the zip on the ball that I want to see. That's a throw that Matt Ryan, regardless of how you feel about him, that's a throw that Matt Ryan makes in stride and is a touchdown every time. I don't care how you feel about Matty Ice. Matty Ice is a great quarterback. He's a Hall of Famer most likely. And that's something that he does really well. So that's where I saw an obvious downgrade. Now, to go the other way with it, Desmond Ridder had some zip on his balls. Not necessarily, I don't know if it would have the same zip at 35, 40 yards down the field, but he looked like the stronger arm overall. I don't think Mariota is going to lose his starting job over this. I think that the coaching staff should be extremely concerned about the lack of zip on Mariota's deep ball passes. I think those are passes that, against a better defense, are actually going to get picked off because of how much hang time they have in the air. Not because Kyle Pitts can't get open. He is obviously a talent. And if Mariota sticks within, 15 to 20 yards from the line of scrimmage to make his passes, I think he's perfectly fine. But you're not going to get a good deep ball out of him. And we're probably going to be playing from behind a lot. We're going to be needing some deep passes to get ahead here. So that's just my take. I have some concerns, especially seeing more of our first-team offense out there. I would say we still haven't seen the full extent of our first-team defense, and we're not going to in the next game either. That said, not a terrible showing. I still don't have much faith in us for the long haul here. Our schedule is just too hard. I mean, we are predicted to win under 5 games. I want you in the comments below. Tell me what games we win. Look at our schedule, top to bottom, when we play them, who are we beating, why are we beating them, and what is going to be our edge other than we just are a bunch of unknowns. Like you have no idea what we're going to do. We're a bunch of guys who have for years been considered second and third teamers who are now playing first team offense and defense. So, how are we going to do? Is it going to be something where we surprise a lot of people, come out? I still don't think we make the playoffs. I don't think there's any world we make the playoffs. And here's the thing. Going back to the Desmond Ridder pick, we took him in the 3rd round. Nakobe Dean was there. I love Nakobe Dean as a Georgia guy. And regardless of what you think about him, if you think he's injury prone, if you think he's got off-the-field issues, he is a general on the field, and he led Georgia. He almost single-handedly, from the linebacker position, commanded the Georgia defense to a national title. He was our field general and was amazing. And here's my problem with the Ridder pick. If we end up with the number 1 or 2 pick overall, we're taking C.J. Stroud or we're taking Bryce Young. Ridder is going to be relegated to a backup, and we wasted a 3rd-round pick on him. Not saying he's not talented, not saying that he probably shouldn't get to start most of the way this year so that we see what we've got in him. I think he's incredibly talented. But if we end up with the number 1 or 2 pick overall, it would be irresponsible not to take one of the higher touted quarterback prospects for the future. It would just be incredibly irresponsible. So that's just my thoughts on it. I think we had some flaws in our game that were exposed in this matchup with the frackin' New Jersey Jets. And I worry about it for the future. I think my concerns are valid for how well we're going to do as a team this year. I do still see us at the bottom end unless we make some drastic changes or can find a way to be better in some of the areas that I'm concerned about. The other thing that I am incredibly concerned about, grand total of 115 yards rushing. 45 of them were from quarterback / tight end Felipe Franks. That's incredibly concerning. Now, Cordell Patterson didn't touch the ball as a running back one time. He was on the field for a couple of series, but he didn't touch the ball as a running back one time. Tyler Algier didn't look great with the ball. Damian Williams didn't look great with the ball. Quadri Allison didn't look great with the ball. So while we have a great pass blocking offense, I think our run blocking offense is still suspect. And again, maybe they play better in the regular season, but we're not going to win the game. We're not going to win games getting 70 yards on the ground from our running backs. That's just not going to happen in a real NFL setting. You know, the best teams last year were rushing about 3,000 yards in the entire year. We're talking about not even hitting the 1,500-yard mark as a team if that's going to be our average. And again, against a relatively bad team. So again, concerns for the future just in the quality of our opponent and the lack of showing up against an opponent. Maybe we play down to our competition. Maybe this is the best we've got. I don't really know. I think we're going to have to wait for about the first 4 to 6 weeks to really see where the Falcons are at. We do have an incredibly tough schedule through the first about 9 games of the year. So, you know, we're probably not going to be sniffing a lot of wins or a lot of good things until about that midway through point. But anyways, that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you like the video, hit the like button. Consider subscribing. It'll help me out a lot. And until next time, guys, I'm still a Falcons fan. I still love my team. I just am being very realistic about our chances, and I don't want to give false hope where I don't think there is none. That's like the same thing as giving a cancer patient a false hope. You want to be hopeful for those people, but you also have to be realistic when things are not going well. You can't just continue to give false hope. That's cruel and unusual. You need a realistic outlook, and that's just where I feel like I'm at right now. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching the video, and rise up.